What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's a wonderful sunny Saturday. I am enjoying a day off. And earlier this week, I did a few stops at some local resale shops, some pawn shops in town. We used to have a really good selection of shops in town. And then right before the COVID pandemic hit, a couple of them kind of closed doors and it's never really come back. But there's one in particular that I used to go to a lot. And I stopped going for a long time because they really didn't have a lot to offer. And the other day, my wife and I were out, and we said, let's stop in and see what they got. And I am so glad that I did. So there were a couple of Xbox 360 consoles in the back, and I was asking and trying to haggle, but the price is just a bit too high. And the lady behind the counter was like, "Oh, I think these are the games that go to those systems," and she was pointing to these N64 games. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I've never seen any N64 games in this shop. Prices were too high, so I kind of, that's fair enough. But right below it was this box.
What's in the box?
And if any of you are my age, I'm 41, you know that when you see something like this, the black top with the wood grain, you know that it's from the 80s probably, and it has some kind of media in it. And sure enough, when I asked her, hey, can I see that box? I opened it up, and to my surprise, were a bunch of ColecoVision games. Now, this is just one stack. There were 11 total, and I was so ecstatic. Like, she had no idea what they were, and I asked her how much, and she said, oh, she gave me a price. I said, I'll take it right then and now. And had she been smarter, she would have said, actually, I meant this. But I bought them, and today we're going to go through them. I'm going to play a little bit of each game to show you what they look like and give you my thoughts. Real quick, while I have it on camera, I'm going to show you the games themselves. We've got Turbo. This game I cannot play. This is one of the two games I'm not going to be able to play because I don't have the steering wheel peripheral. Now, you can play these games using a second controller, but it's kind of a pain in the butt, and I don't want to do it. Next, we have Venture. This game has come out on multiple systems. Not my favorite game. Destructor. This is the second one that I'm not able to play because I don't have the peripheral, the steering wheel. It'd be cool if I had it, but I don't. So I'll show you all the other games that I can play. We also have Gorf, really fun game. A lot of these games I've never actually played until making this video, and I'm kicking myself for not playing them earlier because they're pretty dang fun. We've got Popeye. Not a fun game, but I'll show you. It was kind of interesting. We also have Cosmic Avenger. That's a fun little shoot 'em up. Donkey Kong Jr. Boop, boop, boop. Make sure there's no glare so you can see that. Of course, the tried and true Frogger. There you go. Pepper 2, surprisingly, very fun game. Very addictive game. Like kind of a Pac-Man wannabe, but with a little twist. Really fun game. And of course, Big Daddy Donkey Kong. Gotta have it. And last but not least, War Room. I never figured out how to play this game. You'll see how poorly I do. If I gave it some time, I'd probably figure it out. But this game is very weird. Even though it has the instructions on it, much like bidets in the English language, I just couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I'm not the smartest man. I've talked about that before. But all that aside, I'm very excited to show you these games, this awesome random pickup. Don't sit on resale shops, especially ones that are just kind of tucked away back in the corner, as this one is, because generally they don't know what they have, and they usually just let them sit there forever, and you can give them a pretty decent quote. You don't have to lowball them, but decent quote, and they'll pick it up just to get the shelf space. So all that being said, here are the games. I hope you guys enjoy it. So this is Cosmic Avenger. It is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. It's not fast like an R-Type, but it doesn't need to be. It's fun in its own right. The cool part about this game is that you have an air-to-air attack. You also have an air-to-ground attack. Now that attack is a lot harder to pull off, but it is very satisfying when you actually hit something with your air-to-ground attack. Like most games, Now, this time and this genre, you just shoot and move. That's all you got to do. In Donkey Kong Jr., Mario is the bad guy, and he has trapped Donkey Kong. Now you, Donkey Kong Jr., you need to free your daddy. This game it's a little more active than the first Donkey Kong. You got to watch out for those little crocodile weird things going up and down. And the timing and the jumps between vines, it's actually pretty coordinated and pretty dang fun. Here we have Donkey Kong, the one that started it all. So Nintendo had licensed this game to Coleco, but with the caveat that they had to make the other versions for the other platforms. Well, they went ahead and made their vision, this one right here, absolutely beautiful. And they made all the other versions for the other platforms terrible. That's why most of the other platforms look just absolutely horrible, because they wanted you to buy it on the Coleco vision. And I don't disagree, this is probably the best looking Donkey Kong on a home console. Up next, we have Frogger. There's not a lot I can say. Frogger is just an awesome game. It took me forever as a kid and unfortunately as an adult to realize that you had to fill up all the slots on top in order to beat the level. I always thought I was doing something wrong. Once I figured that out, I couldn't be stopped. Unless, of course, I'm doing a review that I am terrible. But it's Frogger. Frogger's great. It'll never be bad. So this is Gorf. The cool thing about Gorf is there's different games you get to play within this game. You start out with a Space Invaders type game where it's called Astro Battle, and it's, you shoot at these things that are moving back and forth and they're shooting back. That's cool and all. But when you progress, you go to the next one, it is like a Galaga type game called Laser Attack, and they're moving around the screen and you got to hit them. And there's just different forms of the same game, and it keeps it interesting. Doesn't get repetitive. I enjoy that. This is Pepper 2. This game was a sleeper hit for me. In this game, it is the Pac-Man with a twist type game. What you do is you run around and you need to complete the different squares. By completing them, you close them off. And if there's an item in there, you get the item. If there's an enemy in there, you can kill the enemy. It's a cool concept. Instead of just trying to run away from the enemies and stay alive, you're actively trying to get the enemies to come to you so you can trap them and kill them. I enjoyed this game so much. In Popeye, your goal is to collect as many hearts as you can from olive oil while avoiding Brutus, who will try to jump underneath you and hit you or throw bottles at you. This game was very not confusing. I mean, it's pretty easy to pick up and play, but it was pretty boring and pointless in my opinion. I would not recommend this game to anyone. I played it so you didn't have to. So this is Adventure. And I know a lot of people talk about their absolute love for adventure. I'm not one of those people. You start out as a little dot on the screen, and you have to go in these doors. And when you go in these doors, you have to shoot enemies to stun them so you can get past them, to collect items, to move on. It was not enjoyable. Most of the time I was confused or I was teed off because you have to have like a perfect hit on the enemy to stun them. If you're too far away, they unstun before you can get there. There are some dedicated fanboys, and more power to them. I'm not one of them. In War Room, you are this little white looking star, and all these little black and orange and other looking stars are coming in, and apparently they're missiles, and you're supposed to do something with them. I couldn't figure it out. I looked online, I watched other people play it. I could not figure this game out. And because of that, a lot of people got nuked. I'm sorry. It's not my fault that Armageddon happened, but that's just how it is. I'm no Matthew Broderick, mind you. I can't stop the world from being destroyed. All right, so what do you guys think? A throwback to the days of yore when video games were in their infancy, or just bad video games? I enjoyed almost all of them. The Pac-Man game and Adventure, I did not enjoy. And I've played Adventure before on the Atari 2600, and I still don't like it. It's just not my cup of tea. But tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and send me an email at retrobengaming@gmail.com. Let me know your experiences with the ColecoVision, or some of those games doesn't necessarily have to be on the ColecoVision, could be on a different system, but tell me what you think. And if you like this video, please comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really do appreciate when you guys do those things. Anyway, have a great weekend and an upcoming week. If you get a chance, play some video games. Not necessarily on the ColecoVision because it's not very easy to find. But be good to those around you. And as always, keep on gaming.